And I think it kind of also reminds me of what you do in Kakuma and around the world, in Brazil and in Japan, this well-being club. And then you always start with the affirmation card. Girls take turns reading affirmation card for themselves. And yes, they need to educate themselves. And also we need to give them the right attention that they need and they deserve, you know, and we have to be there for them and say, hey, you're capable of doing great things. You are beautiful. You're enough. You're worth it. You know, and I think that's kind of the core of our iamtheCODE Wellbeing Club as well. You know, we need to take care of ourselves. You know, also the brain, we have to feed the brain, but we also have to help them feed their soul and also their body, you know, how to take care of your physical self as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think the reason why we created the Wellbeing Club is exactly that. I feel that the reason why, if you have a young boy or young girl, you look after their mental health, their well-being, they don't need to get into trouble. And I can tell you, I've seen this as a mother, where talking to my son, you know, I'm a single mother, and talking to him and making sure that, you know, I direct him, you know, I direct him to different ways. Then that helps him to know, you know what, when I go outside, I don't answer back the police. I will dress nice. You know, I've got a car. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to respect the law and respect the traffic lights. And one of the things I said to my son when he was young is, don't give ammunition to the system. The system is like the gun. If you give them ammunition, they will shoot you. Don't give ammunition to the police. Means don't answer back. Even if you know they're racist, they're going to kill you anyway. So don't answer back. You know, don't give ammunition to people to, you know, say things to you, you know, or to do things to you. Hang out with the good people. I said to my son when he was going to school, don't give ammunition to the head teacher or to the lady who's going to call you in a room and punish you and put you into detention. I said, the more you give her ammunition, the more she's going to abuse you. Because the system is racist anyway. You're the only Black kid in the school. And Black is associated to criminality. The Black guy, the Black boy, or the Black man is always the criminal. It's like that's what we do with sexuality and gay people and lesbians people. I hate what they do to my friends, LGBTQ people, really. I feel the same pain. They feel my pain too. Because we can understand each other about discrimination and racism. You know, a Black gay or Black lesbian is suffering. They're suffering. Not only they're suffering from racism, they're also suffering from the fact that people are talking about their sexuality. And I love my tribe, I call them. I love them. They understand me. So I'm attracted to them because we understand each other. And I think when we talk about discrimination also, Miwaza, or racism, we also need to talk about this. This also is creating problems right now in our communities. You know, it's creating problems. It's making people lose their self-esteem. It's making people die. People are killing themselves. And we need to also talk about all the part of discrimination, not just racism. They're all the part of discrimination that no one is talking about. Disability is one of them. You know, being gay, being lesbian, being different, being a queer. So many stuff that we, as society, need to change during this COVID-19. And I hope post-COVID-19, we need to understand that, you know, gays and lesbians, the LGBT community. That's why I like Ruth Paul, who's giving people voice and platforms. We need to really make sure when we talk about discrimination, is all of this component is included. And you just mentioned about decoding information earlier. Let's decode every single component. This is my view.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, in some ways, like you said, being in a queer community, we do experience discrimination. It's a little different here in Japan. Even if I go out in the street, right? I'm most unlikely that I'm going to get attacked for being queer. It's more subtle, like you said. It's the more subtle discrimination.
But you shouldn't be feeling that way. No one should feel that way. Everyone should feel respected, loved, cared for, doing their own business. You know, you should be walking, swagging like the way you want on the street without no one looking at you with different eyes. You should be Black walking on the street. No one showing that, get away from me. You know, no one shows that you are a criminal. And it's very difficult, Miwaza. And we need to stop this nonsense.
In the end, you know, the Black people, also queer people, we all just want to live. right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to murder anybody on the street. We're not, we're not criminals.
Yeah, but they're killing queer people in the United States. Everything is linked, Miwaza. When I said earlier that the humanity component, this has happened. The mistake we made in the last 400 years is actually coming back to us now. And this is what happened in this COVID-19. That's why we're all having this conversation. So you have like big key component coming during this like 3-4 months of period. So you can see what is the big problem here. Racism is a pandemic globally. It's a virus in every single household.
Right. And also both COVID-19 and, this whole racial crisis, in the end, it's human issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, we need to come up with a vaccine. We need to stay away from each other, and we can put all these safety measures in place. But in the end, what's prolonging this situation for so long is because of human beings and who's in power and who's taking the lead in this whole crisis situation.
You are right. And it's about money. Again, we're coming back to the same thing.
So one last question. What do you say to your teenage son during this racial crisis in United States and also around the world?
That's a very good question, Miwaza. What do I say to my teenage son? What I said to my teenage son always is, this is not your fault. And your life is valuable. You have a worth. You are enough as a person. I cannot control what will happen outside. But one thing I will give you as a mother is, when you go outside, dress nice, have petrol in your car, don't have drugs in your car, don't answer back the police if you get stopped. Make sure you got all your legal documents sorted or up to date. If you get stopped by the police, get out of the car, don't touch anything, put your hands up in your car, don't hang around with criminals. Try to be a good citizen. Understand the law.
Mm-hmm.
It's very exhausting to say this to a young boy who's only 19 years old, who doesn't understand racism, which is good in one hand, because I don't want him to be intoxicated about racism. But as he grows up, when he's in his 20s, when he starts getting his first job and going to universities, if we don't change anything, he's gonna see what my mom was saying. So I don't want him to have a preconception about racism. But my son reads the news. He goes on his phone. He can see so many Black people being killed. He can see it. I can't hide it. He's 19 years old. He can see people. He can see gay people being killed, Black people being killed, minorities being killed. He can see it. And then he comes home, he's perplexed and asking questions. Why are they dying? What have they done wrong? All of this kind of stuff creates discomfort. So for that reason, I said to him, just to be who he is, and I pray the spirits, I pray that my son grows up to become a good man, a good citizen, have a family, have wives, have children, and live his life the way he deserved to live his life. And I pray that his breath is not taken away from him. I pray that no one put their knee on his neck. I pray that he doesn't get teased. I pray every single day when I do my meditation that my son has got a safe and secure upbringing, because I'm trying my best as a mother to help him. And I hope that nobody will go and take his life because of the ignorance, because of the fear, because of the racism, because of the privilege, because of the power, because of the gun. I really hope that they don't take my son away from me because of all of that. So we need to give young boys and girls in brown communities, in Black communities, in communities of minority, we need to give them tools of survival. We need tools of survival right now. And the tools of survival are mentoring them, talking to them, supporting them, explain to them why people do what they do. If a young girl is a brown girl, is growing up in a neighborhood in the United States, we need to give her the tool before she get out of the house. If she want to come out as a gay, we need to give her the tools. We need to give young people the tools they need to survive.
Thank you so much, Mariéme, for taking time for us to have this conversation. It's my honor to hear directly from you and learn from you. And I'm excited for the world to hear your message. You know, I'm so grateful that we're in this together. We're different, but I'm so grateful that we get to bring different cards to the table. And the situation right now with COVID-19 and racial crisis is very hard, but I am so grateful that I'm on the same team as you. That we can fight together.
I'm really grateful to know you. I'm grateful that we're having this conversation. I've never had this conversation in public before, you know, I think you have got a power in your hand to work with us, to support us, to make sure we tell the stories of the people that people don't see and people don't hear from. We need to bring you know, visibility to people's lives. We need to make sure that people understand what racism is, and we need to make sure that, you know, we use the creative power you have and many other people we're working around the world to make sure that we bring these conversations. For many decades, I never spoke about this to anybody really, because I didn't think it was necessary. But I think yesterday, by listening to Meghan Markle, you know, inspired me to speak up, because sometimes not saying anything is the worst thing that we can do. So I'm really honored that I have been able to open up and really talk about this. It really means so much to me that I'm doing it with you, because I think you understand what I'm saying. And I hope that people who will be listening to this podcast will understand that we need to make sure young boys and young girls have the racism survival tools they need before they get out of their houses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also for the system to do the surgery, and for us to do the surgery as well, you know, because in an ideal world, young boys and girls should not have a survival kit. They should be able to just go out on the street and live their life. But unfortunately, that's the situation right now. And you're right. We need to give them a survival toolkit.
Absolutely, that's a very good way of saying it. Absolutely, racism survival toolkit. I can see that in every single car, in every single house. So
I agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.